afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. My name is Dottie San Martin, and we have a really fun show planned for us today around a topic that I really could use a lot of help with. So first, I want to welcome my co-host, Orly. Hey, TikTok man, how's it going?
Good. We're kind of matching today. A little bright.
Kind of matching.
Little bright from my usual colors, but something told me to wear some red today.
There you go. There you go. Well, we have Greg Dow in the house with us today, and Greg is a MAX training specialist. Hi, Greg. Welcome to Beyond the Frame Live.
Hi, Dottie. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. You know, Greg, we are going to talk today about something that we all struggle with, but most especially in a bowling center, and that's that we run out of time. We run out of time to do things that we either want to do or that we really need to do to drive our business or to make us more money, but we're kind of caught up in this, you know, the things that we have to do. And so you as a trainer are in bowling centers on a daily basis, and you have a number of things that you've identified along the way that customers can do to help save themselves some time. But I also want to talk a little bit about how we set things up and we provide ways for our customers to save time as well, right? So, you know, like for example, you can't really go into a fast food restaurant these days without seeing a kiosk to order food, right?
Yep.
And now, Greg, you're training customers on kiosks, right? Mm-hmm. And other things. So talk to us a little bit about some of these other things that customers are getting to reap the benefit of saving time by using these products.
Yeah, you absolutely are right. I mean, me personally, not even with bowling centers, but anywhere that I go, you know, you said McDonald's, airport, whatever it could be, I seek the kiosks out because in today's day and age, the customer's convenience is the most important thing for them as far as their own time is concerned. And for me, it's faster just to go to that kiosk and do what I need to do on that. And then that way I know everything is going to be done correctly according to what I want. So now that we're offering things like that and getting into this modern age of customer interaction and satisfaction is pretty awesome when you consider what we have to offer on the kiosks, and then also what we have to offer with Conquer Web, which is, you know, we're into like about the second year of that right now. And as that's evolving, it's becoming a huge piece of convenience and time saving for the end user customer and our customers as well. It's the way to go. It's the modern age, and that's the way it is now.
That's exactly right. And as you said, it's the way it is right now. And it's no longer considered a luxury. It really is considered an expectation, right? Customers expect to be able to, you know, and I use it in my everyday life. When I go to wanting a to-go order, I place my order online, right? Yep. And it's ready when I get there. Well, that's what the customers are getting with some of these products. So not only is it important for us to make sure that we're setting our centers up where we can help our customer to save time, because they're just as challenged as we are. But then there's also that whole other end of it. And, you know, before we went live, we were talking about, you know, if you could just save 5 or 10 minutes in every single day, what that means for you at the end of the year is, you know, you really need to stop and think about that sometimes, because it really blows your mind. 5 minutes. And I guarantee you that just during this show today, we are going to help people understand how they can find some of that time and make it to where at the end of the year, they have a lot more time that they can do the things that they want to do.
I think Greg brought up a good point. He said, when I see a kiosk, I use it, because it might not be for every customer every time, but even if he uses it, that might save time for another customer to go up to maybe the front desk, or, you know, see what I'm saying? Because it's going to save you time. We're not trying to take away the interaction, but for somebody else that might be in a hurry, you know, I'm going to use a kiosk, grab my food quicker. That opens up the line for someone else to go there. So yeah, that's a good point he had.
And you know, to add on a little bit to that, Orly, the thing is, you know, a kiosk is never really meant to replace an employee, right? But what it does is it gives them a little bit more time that they can devote it to somebody else that needs their personal attention. And I think that's really important, because that little bit of time that the kiosk saves, now you have that little bit of time that you can give it to someone else to create a little bit better experience. And that's really important these days. Goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that extra time, not to step on you a little bit, Dottie, there, but that extra time can be used for so many different things too. Not just helping the customer out with something else, but maybe taking care of that one little task you didn't have time for. Well, you have a customer at the kiosk, you can ring this league up, you can take care of this thing you don't really want to do, get it out of the way. That way you can do the things that you actually want to do.
Yes, yes, for sure. And you know what? Those things can really start to weigh on you.
Mm-hmm.
You have something that you need to get done, and it keeps falling to the bottom of the list for whatever reason. That starts to bring on that stress. At least for me, I start to feel it right here, right? So let's talk about some of the things that absorbs your time in a center, that you have really great ways that you can show us how we can change the way we look at things and where we go to find things to free us some time. One of the things that for me that used to always consume a lot of my time was when I was looking for information and I was having to hunt.
Yeah.
I was having to go through my computer and remember where I filed it. And I remember, the trainer left me this sheet, what to do with it. And I wasted a lot of time. And my frustration by the time I finally found it, if I found it, was way up here. So there's ways to get around that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And you brought up a good point there too, is because in the past as trainers, what we would used to do for centers, we would create cheat sheets specifically for them. And where those cheat sheets ended up, whether they were printed out and then shoved behind the computer later, or if they're a PDF lost somewhere in the files in the computer, nobody knows. So now, instead of having that stuff all over the place, we have everything condensed into one specific area of the Conquer Maximization Program in the CMR on the Q portal. You can just go right into there, one-stop shop. Everything is completely organized. Find what you need, be it POS setup, being an advertising setup sheet, being whatever you need. It's right there, and you can find it in 5 seconds. Even with a handy search feature, it's so easy to find everything that you need, and that saves hours right then and there.
Yeah, and frustration. And the nice thing about it is cloud-based. So if I'm at home and I'm wanting to work on something and I need a sheet, and that library that you're speaking about, not only is it all your training material, but it also has all your marketing kits, all your logos, anything that you need from a marketing standpoint as well. So it is absolutely a one-stop shop. And again, with it being cloud-based, you have the ability to access it, from wherever you are. And of course, the statistics that you can pull. Me being in the marketing world, I like to be able to look at what marketing promotions are working and to have access to the financials, and makes it really, really nice as well. So.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because a lot of centers also don't realize they're looking for something specific in the Conquer reports. It might not even be available in the Conquer reports, and it's only strictly in the Q portal. So, and again, and that information is right there along with everything else, just on one page. So it's just easy to find everything, spend 5 minutes in there, get what you need, and move on.
Absolutely. So, and that's something that, maybe some people don't realize, but I certainly encourage people to go in and poke around and see what you can find. I can almost promise you that there's going to be something that you identify. I need to read this because this is going to save me a lot of time. So, so definitely something that I think that you can squeeze a few minutes in to take a look, so you can save, maybe several hours going forward. So the other thing is, when I am, and Orly and I were talking about this earlier in the day, I get so frustrated when I want to be able to do something and I can't, there's a step I'm missing, right? I do a lot of graphic design, and maybe there's a specific element that I can't get it to look just right, right? And it's nice when you have a lifeline, right? When you can, what is that show? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something?
Yeah.
I use a lot of lifelines, right? I have
Phone
to
a friend. Yeah. Phone a friend.
call a friend
Yeah.
a lot.
Mhm.
And we, so when I look at when there's an issue that comes up in a bowling center, and knowing that I have the ability to reach out to someone and say, hey, I need a little bit of help. And that 30 minutes saves me, several hours. That's huge. And we were just speaking about Q Portal and the resource library. There's another arm of that that comes along for our Conquer Maximization Program preferred customers. Can you share a little bit about what that is, Greg?
Yeah, so it's the same area as everything else, is located in the CMR section of the Q Portal. There is a link on there that will allow you to put in a request form if you're a business preferred customer. Every business preferred customer, and a lot of you don't know this, gets 2 hours a year of an included consultation, both training and marketing, for pretty much like a customized 2-hour piece, whatever you want. I'm actually in the middle of setting one of these up for one of my customers right now. And I said, what do you want to focus on? Where are your concerns? And they said, well, what can we do? I said, whatever you want. It's
Absolutely.
an open-ended forum for 2 hours. We will put together a customized agenda for this meeting for you and your managers for 2 hours to go over anything you want. We can go over, you've got your modifiers set up incorrectly. We can fix that. Anything, making sure your system is customized the way you want it, working with group events, anything you want. And this is an included thing. One request form, and we will immediately get back to you and set that up.
And the only thing we ask is that they're in blocks of 30 minutes. So if you have something that you think is going to take quite a bit of time, we can kind of evaluate that once that request comes in. Yeah. But you can use a 30-minute, or you can use your full 2 hours all at one time if you want. Yep. And we'll keep up with that for you. So, I think from a customer standpoint, to be able to reach to an expert that can help answer their question or get them going in a right direction can save a lot of time, a lot of frustration, and you already have those lifelines available if you're a Cubica AMF customer. And if you are not a Cubica AMF customer, and even if you don't run a bowling center, for Pete's sakes, if you are just a person, to know that you have a network of either friends or colleagues or other professionals around you that you can go to and ask that question. Maybe it's on a personal level. Maybe you are struggling with something and you need something, you need to be able to do something and you just really don't know where to go for it. Having someone there for you that can help you get going in that direction is important. So we have services specifically to help our customers. We have a lot of lifelines available for our customers, and that's one of the things that I enjoy the most about this company, is the dedication that it has towards helping our customers have the tools that they need to be successful, right? So those lifelines, I encourage you, if you are a Cubica AMF customer and a CMP preferred tier, I would certainly say take a look, make sure that you're using your lifelines, and let us take some of that stress off of you, right?
And time, like you mentioned, time saved, because even when it doesn't come to bowling things, you could YouTube something and look for help. And sometimes that video in the title might say, I'm going to help you fix this, what you think. You watch 30 minutes of video and I'm like, that didn't really tell me what I was looking for. Exactly. Then you have to find another video. So if you could just pick up the phone and get that help right away, that's a huge time saver.
Yes. And again, it does relieve that stress. So, and something that you do, Greg, on a daily basis is you go into centers and you, as a max training specialist, you are training them on how to utilize, how to set up and learn about the new product that they just got, be it, the kiosk, or whatever it is, hyper bowling, whatever it is, you're helping them to be able to set it up and learn how to use that, right? but you also are helping them set their system up to where their system is running efficiently, right? And their system is working for them instead of them working for their system, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. When we first go to actually set a system up and train people how to operate their facility efficiently through use of the system, we know how to do it. I mean, we can do it blindfolded.
Yes.
But down the road, as people are starting to look at things and make changes and change their menu or change their bowling operations, especially after COVID, a lot of centers here included, I was having a discussion with the proprietor here earlier, they totally changed their operating model once they opened back up after COVID and needed to make all these changes to the system.
Yeah.
Did they make those efficiently and properly? When I looked at it, not so much. Not their fault, because they didn't really remember. They didn't know how to do it. It'd been forever since they'd been trained. And they'd been operating the same way for so long that sure, they kind of, did it so it would kind of work, but it doesn't work efficiently. No. It's another one of those things where if it is set up efficiently, it takes 2 clicks to accomplish your goal rather than navigating through 5 different screens in Concord to try to do the same thing. Exactly. These are automation pieces of the system that we have in place, bowling modes, experiences, all these things that work hand in hand in conjunction where you can save so much time if it's set up correctly. That's the key. And some of these centers, since we do it all for them, they don't remember how to do it and they get kind of stuck.
Yeah. Well, and then that lends itself to, if you aren't sure, or it's the process is not quite set up right and it's confusing, then a lot of times people avoid it. So they maybe won't use that feature because I really don't think I have it set up right, or I don't really remember how to set it up right.
Right.
And so they wind up not really getting to reap the full benefit of what they have. And we know that, I mean, with our systems, there's a lot of things that it can do. And a lot of times they avoid it, the customers avoid it, our centers avoid it because they don't really know what to do with it or how to set it up, right?
Yeah, I saw that actually when I was, I'll use this specific center as an example too. They do have a point of sale and they use it well. But when I was looking at it earlier today, as they've been adding items to their menu, taking items off the menu is a big thing. Should we really push the delete button? What's actually going to happen if we do this? Scary. Exactly. And rightfully so. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. But, talking about POS, for example, there's a smart way to set up your POS. And that, once it's set up and it makes sense to have it set up that way, it's so much easier on your employee that it makes sense to them. They're not hunting for that key to ring up a customer, right?
Yeah.
So, and not only does the system come to you with so many bells and whistles, the other thing that we as a group were talking about earlier is, our software is continually changing. We are continually tweaking it and making improvements and adding new features. And one of the things that you said, Greg, that really hit home was that sometimes centers just go in and they hit just upgrade, right?
Yep.
And what are they missing out on when they do that?
Yeah, that actually happened last week because we were in the middle of doing a training and we got some random new version just showed up right in the middle of training. It just downloaded. They're like, oh, we should go ahead and upgrade. And I asked them, oh, well, do you know what the new features are in this specific upgrade? They're like, no, we're on the upgrade and whatever. I'm like, well, you need to know why you should run this. What's beneficial in this new, and so they didn't have any clue. And so right then in the dialog box where you run the upgrade is a link to the feature file for that upgrade, showing you the new features for that new version. It's always beneficial to take a look at that first because it's right there in front of your face. Again, one of those time savers. You can look at it later, but if you look at it right then and there, it's something that's in front of your face. Check that out first, then run the upgrade and say, hey, these are the new features we can take advantage of right now.
Exactly. And you know why we don't usually look at that? Because we're out of time, right? Like, oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up and do that. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot, Orly. When you have an upgrade ready, do you read your feature file?
No.
Okay.
No, I will.
Read it. It'll
No,
save
I
time.
still learn. I still learn all the time. That's why I was excited for today's show. I'm still always learning something new. Dottie's always bringing things to my attention, and it's good. There's a lot out there for people to use that they might just not know about, and it's going to save them time. And yeah, just make sure you're learning about it and teaching your staff.
For
It's
sure.
going to help a lot.
For sure. And Greg, there's not only can you help them by teaching them the proper way to set up their system, but there are centers that are new. They're new centers. Maybe they have bought an existing center. Maybe they were in the food and beverage business and they suddenly found themselves in the bowling business, right? And they really don't know what they need to do to have their system set up properly. And so I call this an additional lifeline almost. We do have services that that are designed specifically for that reason. If you don't have the time, if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the expertise, or you're not even confident in knowing that you have enough background of what it takes to be in a bowling center setting, then Cubica AMF will do it all for you. Am I right? It almost sounds too good to be true. Am I right?
It is. You would think it would be too good to be true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that is a new thing that we started to think about branching out into more of what the customers are actually looking for beyond which buttons to push in the system. I handle a lot of the new center training, and it's beyond, okay, this is great, we can push a button, but what does it really mean? Why should we do it this way? Beyond that kind of stuff, general business practices, a lot of people are just, it's no fault of their own, they're just not educated. So we have the power to teach people this kind of thing now. And we thought it was a good thing to start to introduce as our services start to grow. We have the expertise, Dottie, that you brought up amongst our team, that we can help people with this kind of thing. New centers, even existing centers that have been doing things the same way and have refused to change for years and years and years, and now they want to change. We can help them with that change.
And Orly, I'm sorry, Greg, we have all been in a setting where we've operated centers, right? And you most especially, you're in centers all the time. We work with centers from a marketing perspective and beyond all the time. To be able to have that depth of experience that you can tap into for a customer that's new to this industry. But we say it all the time, bowling is different. Running a bowling center is different than running
anything,
retail store or a restaurant or whatever. There's a lot of deep embedded thought processes that the customers have, and expectations of older customers and new expectations of the newer customers. And so there's a lot that goes into running a bowling center that, unless you've been in that situation, you really don't realize it. It's completely different. And so to be able to have our customers tap into that deep commitment of experience is something that's extremely valuable. So we are definitely in the mindset that we share our experience and we share our knowledge. It's not something we like to hang on to. We like to share it with others to help them be more successful. So tell us a little bit about some of the type of things that can be completely set up for you.
Sure. I mean, pretty much anything you want, really. The setup and optimization services within Concur itself are some of the things where, we're going back to that saving time kind of thing. I don't want to do it is another reason that I run into a lot. Why haven't you set your POS up properly? I don't feel like it. It's either I don't feel like it, I don't have enough time, I don't want to do it. One of those excuses. So that's one of those things where we can get your brand new menu that you just have. You've got a beautiful brand new menu, new food items, anything that you want. You've completely redone your bar. We will get in there and set it all up properly in Concur for you, because that takes the customer quite a long time to get it just right. And normally they can get it pretty close, but not the way that the experts would set it up to be perfect for you to operate. That kind of thing we can set up for you. we can easily take the parameters for a customized group event, set all that stuff up in Concur, get it ready for you to execute, give you an execution checklist of what buttons to push when for your group event. And it's just a one-stop shop for that kind of thing too. Coming into, for another example, coming into the holiday season, if you have Center Punch and you want to change all of your light shows for a really cool holiday themed light show, we can build that for you. So you don't have to spend time saying, I need this effect to last this long and switch to this one. Don't need to do it because we will do that for you too. All that kind of stuff, anything in Concur pretty much that you want set up properly, we can do.
And you know, Greg, some of it is that that's just not their cup of tea, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
don't like doing that kind of stuff.
Sure.
They like being out with the customer and visiting with the customer and that kind of stuff. And it's not that they don't have the skill to do it. It's just that that's not, you know, all of us have things in our daily lives that we do that don't rate right up there to the very top, right?
Yep.
We got to do them. But if there were those things that, you know, you could say, hey, you're the pro at this, you like doing this, and you know when somebody likes doing stuff. I know that you enjoy helping set customers up the right way because you know what it does for them in the long run. It makes them more efficient. It makes their system utilization higher. They are using the system the way it's supposed to be used. But when you don't like having to do something, it takes you twice as long. You don't have the experience. And it just becomes something that I think we lost, Greg, but we're going to hang on. It makes it to where it's a chore versus getting something marked off of your list.
Yeah, or you don't finish it. You know, you might start it and be like,
yeah.
You
Or you just keep putting it off, keep putting it off, keep putting it off. So, you know, those are definitely things that I think that, you know, this service is expert services is definitely going to help those proprietors. And we're going to just keep going because I see that Greg has frozen. And that's the look I get when I know that I have to do something that I don't want to do. I get that deer in the headlights look that Greg has blessed us with as he's dropped off of this call. But, you know, the other point that I wanted to make and talk to Greg about is to make sure that your staff is properly equipped to take care of their customer. Number one, we know for a fact that if your employee is comfortable and confident and has the tools that they need to deliver the service that you expect them to deliver your customer, that the customer is going to get a much better experience, right?
Yeah, that's huge because there's been times where I've had a staff member that, you know, I asked them a question and I'll say, can you do this real quick? I've never did that before. And I'm like, well, I was like, we've already been here a year. You've never like, and it's something you can't really blame them for because it might have been on me. Maybe I never taught them that correctly, you know.
That's
and
right.
if they don't know how to use something correctly, they might not use it. And that's gonna take away from the customer something that they could be helping with the customer.
So Greg, first and foremost,
I'm back.
You showed us that you had a perfect face of somebody that was just told they have to do something that they really don't want to do. It was a perfect example. So thank you for doing that for us.
Oh, that was planned.
Of course. Okay, of course. Thank you so much. The details, it's all in the details here. But we're talking about making sure that your staff is prepared, right? So making sure that your staff is knowledgeable, they know where to go to find the resources that they need. And if that's you can learn that, you can identify those staff members that aren't comfortable, that really could use either some extra training. Maybe they could use that lifeline to a training specialist. Maybe they could go to the Q portal and find a couple of documents that could help them to be able to set something up a little bit more efficiently for the customer, or whatever whatever the case may be. But you need to also be mindful that that also speeds it up for the employee. So the employee can save time if they know what they're doing, right? So that's another opportunity that you can save your employees some time. And we know, it not only saves them time, but it cuts down on their frustration. And right now, we don't want our employees to be frustrated and wind up quitting on us because we're barely hanging on and scraping by with the number of employees we have right now. So that's pretty important to us, right?
Absolutely.
So, well, Greg, first of all, thank you so much. I am going to look for opportunities now myself to save time. I think knowing that I have a resource for material and I have lifelines available, I'm all about those lifelines, and I use them every chance I get. And a lifeline can also mean networking and becoming friends to someone that you can lean on when you need that person. So thank you very much. I know how busy you are being training. You're actually on a training job right now. So thank you. And thanks to the customer for allowing us to borrow you for a little bit.
Multitasking. Yay.
Yes, multitasking. There again, that's
Time saver.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's all about the time. So thank you very much. Do you have any closing words or any comment that you want to leave our viewers with?
Well, I would just say, just don't forget about where to go to get to those lifelines. You know, all of our QKMF customers that are on Conqueror X and have their Q Portal account, make sure you take a look at those training resources, because they're all lumped together where you have everything available to you. Aside from the training resources, marketing resources, that's also where your consultation request form is, and where you can learn all about our expert services program. Make sure you take a look at everything we have to offer you.
Yes.
We're looking forward to executing this.
And I'm going to just make a little tease here. I'm not going to give away much, but I will say that there's more to come, you know, on that portal. So this library is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you don't want to miss out on looking at it. So again, Greg, thank you very much. I want to mention, this is a really busy week for us here at Beyond the Frame. Tomorrow we have another show, and we're really excited about this show. Orly happened upon this customer, or I should say this venue. But tomorrow we're going to have Kathy Hafke, the third generation of Marcy and Jean's notorious Holler House, on the show. The Holler House is the oldest certified bowling alley in America. And I'm telling you what, if those walls could talk, it would be amazing what they could tell us. And I understand that Kathy can tell us a little bit about what message those walls hold.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have a lot of questions for Kathy. Yeah, the Langs were sanctioned in 1910. That's insane. So we get to
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And there's 5 generations now. The grandchildren of Kathy, I understand, are even the pin boys right now. So it should be a really interesting show. Viewers, we can't thank you enough for carving out a little bit of your afternoon to be with us here. Greg, again, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I think that what you are able to do for customers and setting the customers up definitely saves them time, but even more so than that, it saves that stress and that weight on their shoulders of not knowing how to do something. So for that, I say thank you for what you do, because it makes a big impact on the success of a customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So guys, thank you very much. I hope that all of y'all plan on tuning in tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time, to learn a little bit about Holler House and how that all came to be.
Yeah, and stay tuned. We have a video, remember I was supposed to remind you.
Oh, that's right. You were supposed to remind me. Tell the viewers a little bit about that.
So we have a little video we're going to be posting. Should we say about the video, or just say there's a video coming? What do you think we should?
Well, you know, we have a series that we're currently working on. It's called Behind the Brand. And we've got all sorts of stuff that's going to be dropping really soon. But Orly, tell them a little bit about these 2 gentlemen that we came across as we were shooting footage back at Richmond or at Mechanicsville, and for them, what they need to be watching for.
Yeah, so as Dottie mentioned, we were in Richmond here a few weeks back, and we met a couple Cubica employees. There was a fellow named Ugaga, I hope I'm saying that right, and Jaden, and they both had some unique hair, which you'll see soon. And we wanted to do a little contest, you know, who has the best hair.
Their help. We need our viewers' help. So we think they're both awesome, but we're gonna employ you to help us out here. So stay tuned for that. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to host Beyond the Frame Live. Greg, thanks again. I wish you a lot of success at your job that you're training right now. They're lucky to have you. And everyone, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern here on Beyond the Frame Live. Have a good afternoon, everybody.